So last summer I spent about a month making this sweet entertainment dresser. It's got built-in LEDs, and the best part about it is it hides all the wires. There is one problem though. It has a deep, dark secret inside. Ooh. So let's get started milling some lumber. I milled mine to 1/4 inch, which is a pretty standard size. So you should be able to go to your local big box store and pick the wood of your choice right off the shelf. So if you don't have a joiner or a planer, you can still make this project. This entire project revolves around relative dimensioning. So we're not going to need a tape measure for most of it. With the size of the box determined, let's start cutting some miters. Oh no! I can't make repeatable cuts with this miter gauge. Just relax. Just a little problem. The first thing you do in a time like this, check your scrap wood pile. What bits of wood do you have lying around? Luckily, I had all the pieces of this upgrade lying around the shop. The only thing I had to go get was the Rockler T-Track. Now you don't actually need the T-Track for this, but I plan on reusing it later. Little tip when you're installing T-Track, check how deep your screws are. Don't be like me and mount your fence to your workbench. Back to the scrap pile. A little super glue. I'm gonna add a couple of these little pieces here. All right, now that we're back on track, let's finish cutting our sides to length. But wait, these sides are too long. Our stop block won't work. What will we do? Back to the scrap pile. We can extend the stop block. Titebond Dark is hands down the best glue to use when you're working with walnut. Have you noticed that you haven't seen my tape measure yet? The only time you're going to see my tape measure is when I mark the center of a board. The sooner you get used to building on relative dimensions, the sooner you can build wildly unique items. Now we're beginning to approach the most time-consuming part of this build. What might look like 10 or 15 cuts was probably more like 50 or 60 cuts. Now there's no room for error when you're making the cuts on these dividers. Start at the middle and creep your way out. My thought is the first thing to do is get the right location and width. Once we get that right, we can work on the depth. A cut too far in any direction is going to be very obvious when the project's over. Now it's time for the glue up. So make sure you pre-sand all the inside parts. Don't forget to protect the inside corners with blue tape like I did, or you're going to spend an extra hour sanding. Now these are mitered corners on a box that's going to get the hell beat out of it. So we're going to need to reinforce them, or the whole thing is just going to fall apart. Now anytime I'm reinforcing miters, I like to use this jig. I don't have one. Back to the scrap pile. Now I've got a bunch of offcuts left over from the birdhouse I built and the picture frame. And I got a little bit of super glue left and a bunch of random screws. I think we can make this work. Now if you don't have a thin rib jig, go buy one. They're awesome. I love mine. I should have bought it a long time ago. Now cutting these are a little tricky. The reinforcements on the other side are keeping the box from laying flat, and it wants to wobble. But once you get the first side off, it can lay flat and it's a lot easier. I like to put a playing card between the saw and the box so the unused blades don't scratch the project. It's time to sand by hand. Grab a little Rubio and let's wrap this bad boy up. Now you just watch me do it. Get up and do it yourself.